Peace and blessings. Welcome to Reflection Internal. We are on the 7th episode. Wow, already. We're moving up. I am Sharuk, and today is a big topic. And this topic is why me? Why pain and suffering? And I think this is the underlying issue for many people. This is the main concern. When I spoke to people about this issue, they always go into that topic. Why me? Well, when we say why, we're talking about the wisdom behind why these events are happening to you. Why is the Creator allowing these things to happen to me? What's the wisdom behind it? Well, for growth. See, pain and suffering is not always a bad thing. It's just your perception. There's good pain and suffering, and there's bad pain and suffering. The good pain and suffering is when you learn from that and you grow. Because the Creator wants to tell you something about yourself. You have to get to know yourself. The bad side of pain and suffering is you're not going towards the Creator. You're moving away. So which means that when you move away from the Creator, the pain and suffering increases because you're not going back to the source. So pain is an indication, it's an indicator that changes has to be made in your life. It's not always a negative thing, and I'm going to use some examples. One example is, look, in the Sufi tradition, there was a story of Master Rumi. He was a great Sufi poet, and he said that look at a man eating spicy food. Now listen to this very carefully. Look at the man eating spicy food. He's sweating outwardly. He's sweating, and he's like really getting into that food. It's like he's suffering outwardly, but inwardly, the food tastes so good. It's so good that he's truly enjoying the moment. Outwardly, it looks like he's suffering. Inwardly, he's actually enjoying the food. Another example is when you exercise, when you see someone exercising and stuff, outwardly you're thinking, oh man, this man is sweating, this person is sweating, he's going through all this pain and suffering and lifting and running and all that cardio and this and that. But in reality, he's actually getting pleasure out of that. He's actually building himself. So in reality, it's a good thing. And I remember one of my teachers when I was young, he used this example. He said that if you take an orange, what do you have to do? You have to make the effort to peel it. It takes a bit of effort and a bit of pain. And you might even suffer just to like get that peel out. But the sweetness is inside. You're after the sweetness. So outwardly, you got to make that struggle. And that requires a bit of pain and suffering, a bit of effort. But once you see the sweetness, you don't remember the pain anymore. And I'll use another example. Birth is a good example. The pain that the mother has to go through delivery. But once the baby's out, look at that relief, look at that sweetness. It's as if the pain never existed. That's why it says in the Holy Quran, with hardship comes ease. Right? As soon as the hardship is happening, when you're going through that hardship, the ease is already there. So the ease overtakes the hardship. The sweetness and the relief overtakes the bitterness, the pain, the suffering. So that's how you're supposed to see things. But what happened is people take pain and suffering in a negative way. They look at it in a negative light. And I want to share two books that I found that that really helped me a lot, and it's a good read. It's called When Bad Things Happen to Good People. But I would say when bad things happen to bad people and when good things happen to good people. And another question is it really bad in reality? And this one right here, A Muslim Response to Evil by Said Nursi on Theodicy. One of the best books written on this issue of pain, suffering, good and evil. Like, I haven't seen any book as good as this, the way he explains it. So that's how we're supposed to look at things. You don't look at it as a, oh, why me, in a negative light. It's always in a positive light for growth, and this opens doors for growth, and you want to grow. You don't want to be complacent, right? We don't want to be complacent. We want to grow, because growth, that's where the light is. That's where the nur, as they say, is, right? And that's what we're here for. We're not here to just stay in one spot for a long time. We're here to move, right? If water, one of the spiritual teachers said that if water just stays at one place for a long time, if it gets stagnant, it starts to smell. It starts to have this stench, and you don't want that. You want flowing water. That's what we want. See, what happens is that some people, they go through this traumatic experience in their childhood, and then they start to question, where was God when I needed him? This is not fair what I'm going through. But you have to remember, God is all wise, all knowledgeable. He knows exactly what he is doing with you. You just have to trust him during the process of your life, right? And because of that traumatic experience that we have when we're young, that we make this assumption. See, assumption on our part, that could be wrong. It's not making assumption about God. It's knowing who God is. There's a difference. And when we make the wrong assumption, we start to blame God for our problems. We say life is not fair. God is absolutely just. He knows exactly what's happening with you before he even created you, because he has knowledge about everything. So that pain and suffering is good for you. And he doesn't want to hurt you. He doesn't want to see you hurt. He wants to see you happy. He wants to see you grow. But we have to go through that experience to know. We have to go through that process. With that being said, that God not only gives, but he loves to give, because he's not like a human being. I think we get trapped in that we think that God is a human being, but God is not a human being. God has no likeness. And there's a saying that I am the opinion of my servant as he thinks of me. So if you think well of God, then that's what you're going to see in front of you. And if you don't think well of God, well, that's what you're going to see in front of you. And if you think that God is not with you, well, guess what? God is still with you, because he's so merciful. He's never absent. So we're about to close. So remember, human rejection, divine protection, and
redirection.
And peace and
Blessings.
blessings.